It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Command Family Medicine and John's Heating and Air. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone. We are waking up to cold temperatures in the Ozarks this morning. We've got temperatures in the 20s across the region. It is a frigid start to the day, so make sure you add all the extra layers, especially for those kids out at the bus stop this morning. It'll even be cold by this afternoon, so hats, gloves, the jackets, the parkas, all necessary across the Ozarks today. Conditions are going to be cold, that's for sure, but we do have a dry day ahead as we round out the work week forecast, so you can still get out and about. It's busy this time of the year. The grocery stores are overrun. Below normal temperatures, though, will greet us on this Friday. We've got below normal temperatures and dry conditions as we round out this work week forecast. Pretty calm here on the center part of the country, but both coasts are very active. Snowfall happening on both the East Coast and the West Coast this morning in the higher elevations. Also, lots of rainfall for our friends out west. And I'm expecting just a dry weekend for us here in the Ozarks, and temperatures do get a little bit better. They'll start to come back up. We've got a warming trend in place for us as we head through the weekend forecast. So this morning, early as of 5 a.m., numbers are going to be in the mid-20s. I mean, it's going to be kind of a brutal start to the day in terms of temperatures. However, it gets better. 46 for the high temperature in Springfield today. Numbers tomorrow should be back to the mid-50s. The winds remain light for the weekend, at least on Saturday. By Sunday, we may get those gusty winds back, and that'll actually be out of the south. So it's going to boost our temperatures. We may get close to 70 degrees once again on Sunday. A bit of whiplash here, but at least the warmer days are falling on the weekend before perhaps some more unsettled weather heads in for us in the Ozarks next week. The other headline is that rain chances do return for us next week, probably by Wednesday, which is a huge holiday travel day. Looks like a strong storm system will be impacting the middle part of the country, bringing rain showers and much cooler temperatures for the second half of the week. Here's that timing for rain. If you're staying here regionally, if you're heading out of state but staying in the Midwest, heads up for you early that we may be dealing with rainfall next Wednesday. Rain chances look less likely by Thanksgiving, but on Thanksgiving, we may have the cooler air working its way in. So there could be some very cold temperatures for the back half of next work week's forecast. Also, potentially some snow flurries depending on what time that rain comes in. So we're watching that Wednesday through Thursday time frame very carefully. Early next week, it could mean some travel troubles for our holiday folks hitting the road. Also in the headlines, I mentioned it already, but the cool down in store for us next week, late November, early December is looking cold. We will have temperatures that get way, way cooler. In fact, the long range outlook now predicting that the Ozarks has more than a 50% chance of seeing those below normal temperatures. That's November 28th through December 4th. So perhaps a cold start to December here in the Ozarks, something to keep in mind as well. Other things making headlines around the country, of course, that Pacific storm system, incredible, kind of a 1-2 punch there with major storm systems and the atmospheric river impacting the West Coast. That's happening all the way from Washington, Oregon, back down through portions of Northern California. Power outages happening for the San Francisco Bay Area because of all the heavy rain, and they've got days more of it on the way. That's going to remain in place through Saturday. Also, the first significant snowfall for the East Coast underway from parts of Pennsylvania back up through New York. Heavy snowfall going to come down for a time. That's happening today as well. Central United States, Southern United States, we're kind of in the clear here, so consider yourself lucky, at least for the next couple of days through the weekend as we get a more mild weather pattern in comparison to what some of our friends are experiencing across the country. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister Trivia question for the day. And the question that I gave you yesterday was true or false. The Pilgrims referred to themselves as the Pilgrims. Do you think that is true or false? I knew this one, thanks to Miss K, my history teacher. I know that one is false. They called themselves the Separatists, or sometimes they would also call themselves the Saints. The term pilgrim was only applied to them later on, particularly around the time of the Plymouth colony's bicentennial celebration. So people that actually sailed on the Mayflower and established Plymouth were considered separatists because they wanted to separate from the Church of England, of course. They primarily called themselves separatists or saints. Now you know. Congrats if false was your guess. All right, here's your next chance to win. Here's the question that I'll have the answer for early next week. In 2023, which state raised the most turkeys? What do you think? Do you think it's A, Arkansas, B, Virginia, C, Minnesota, or D, Kentucky? You can let me know your guess. That's at aroundtheozarks.com. Thank you so much for listening this morning. Bundle up today. It is a cold end to the work week. Tomorrow we're back to the 50s. We're in the 60s though by Sunday. So things are looking up for us here in the Ozarks for the weekend. I'll be back to chat with you first thing next week. We'll talk all about that important Thanksgiving holiday travel forecast. That's coming up next week. I hope you have a great weekend.